Howdy everybody in YouTube land. This is part 2 of the Pioneer SX-750 restoration series. Now that some time has passed, plus an illness in between that pretty much killed my entire Thanksgiving holiday, but it is what it is. Anyways, so we have received some parts. I got a couple different choices here. He picked up some LEDs for the indicator lamps in the front, as well as these type for the front indicator panel for the dial. So the problem with these are the ones that are used in the 780, but not this particular 750, because these bulbs are actually permanently part of this. It's one assembly, because I tried to take it apart and you can kind of see where there's just, glue in there and remnants to where it's all glued together. So we also got the original style bulbs. It's very similar. It's not the same, but it's close enough so that we should be able to use these particular lamps, because these lamps are meant to be plugged into a socket and turned, but we don't have those sockets. They're permanently attached. So I think we're going to go back with the original, and there should be some bulbs in here for the front indicators, I think. Maybe not. I'm not entirely certain. So if not, I have them on hand, so that's not a big deal. The other thing I wanted to address as well is the power switch. I've done some research. This power switch is basically unobtainium. There's no way you're going to find it. And the amount of trouble you got to go through to tear this apart and try to redo the contacts just for it to fail a short time after that, it's just not worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bypass this power switch so this thing will stay lit up all the time. And we're going to just cut it off by the power cord. We're going to run the power cord into a strip or something and just turn all the equipment off at one time. That's how he's going to use this, and he's okay with that. The last thing we need to address are the noisy transistors on these phono preamp boards. And actually, in my kit here, I had some new old stock 1849s, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the same transistor, and if not, it's pretty close. So these have never been used. Do they have the same problem? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not entirely certain on that, but I do know that these have never been used. They've been spread out, and I've tested them on my breadboard, and they're still good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install those in that to fix that, and then we're going to get the indicator lamps replaced, and I believe that's going to finish this amplifier up. So yeah, let's get moving on. Let's get the lamp, at least let's get the lamps done. See, because we can easily just pull these out now. They're just barely in there. Yeah. Don't tell me I have to take this thing all the way apart again to pull that out. Oh man, maybe. Oh, that's right. These broke off, so I can get that in there. Yeah, I'm still getting over the sickness, so I'm doing a lot better than I was a couple of days ago, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, these will come right out, so I can just go ahead and replace those, but these are going to be a little more fun. So let's get this done and get them out of the way. To get the bulbs out of the rubber boots, it's just easier to chop the wires off right here at the edge, and then literally just carefully pop the actual glass loose and pull it out, and it's going to leave the base behind inside this. And then grab a pair of cutters or pliers or something along those lines and just pull the whole base assembly out of the rubber grommet, and that will free up these rubber grommets. That way we can get the new lamp installed. Now, when you install these lamps, you have to make sure that you get the wires where they're soldered in line with those holes, and make sure you pull the wires all the way through and make sure they don't bunch up. Otherwise, what will happen is this solder joint won't go down far enough, and it's going to want to put that solder joint somewhere around this ring. Problem with that is you're not going to be able to get the rubber boot into the plastic light pipe. So now I got the new bulb installed, and you can see how I did that. I just lined it up, pushed it in there, and then once I got the lamp installed in the rubber grommet, I pushed the rubber grommet back inside of its little holster. So now I just have to do the other two bulbs, and then I also cut the zip ties here so I can get to these wires, because these new wires are long enough to where I can cut these off and wrap the new ones around and solder it and just not have tied wires off everywhere. I should have plenty of wires to do that. This is one of the lamps that sits over here. This is the lamp that sits over there, and then this lamp sits in the middle. And they do not all go to the same post, so pay attention. Some of these wires here, if you follow them, one goes to this post here, which is the same as this wire, but this wire is 2 more posts over. So just FYI. Alright, all 3 of those bulbs are wired in, and I got the one that was bad here replaced and the one that was bad over there replaced. I want to go ahead and just try it, make sure it all works. Yep, all 3 of those bulbs are lit. Hey, I got a FM light now. Power light's lit, FM light, AM, FM, phono, auxiliary. We're good. Alright, so now I can put the screws in for this, button these wires up, and we're going to move on to the next thing. So I'm going to try to take the NPN transistors out without removing this ribbon cable, because if you remember from last time, I had to fight with this and replace this ribbon cable. So I got the 2 screws off the back and I put them over there, but I want to try to get this bracket out of the way and see if I can't get this module, in there with the desoldering gun without touching any wires and melting stuff, and just overall deciding to screw stuff up. So I want to move these wires out of the way. And then, I want to get these out without breaking the wire. And we're going to change these 2 transistors. Just like before, I have to match those up, pin out for pin out, to what's in there. And let's hope it works. As expected, the emitter base collector pinout was slightly different. This one goes, the original one went base collector emitter. This one goes emitter base collector. So I had to realign the pins. Otherwise, it seems to be alright. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one now. Alright, now that that is out of the way, got the old ones over there. We're going to move on to the power switch, and we're going to see what we can do about that. We'll probably just bypass it and use an external means for cutting the power on and off. It's not the best solution, but it's the only thing that I have. Alright, what I've done now is I've gone on the back of the switch here and I cut off the orange wire that's in the back and then the brown wire here, and I snaked them out right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip these 2 wires, and then we're going to put a crimp cap on here like what you see in car audio. We're gonna crimp cap it, and then we are going to just carefully set this out of the way, and this switch will be bypassed. I could remove the headphone jack and put a toggle switch there and put these on the toggle switch, but it'll look tacky and I don't really want to do that. I could equally put a switch back in the rear, but then it's just not worth it. I'd rather just bypass it with a crimp and then set it out of the way. That way the person who owns it can turn it on and off through a power strip. And just like that, the problem is solved. I added a little bit of solder in there, and it's debatable whether that's a good idea or not, but I added a little bit of solder and then I crimped it in place. It's not going anywhere, so I can just take this guy and just tuck it right back up in here, snake it between the same wires that was there before, at least attempt to. Well, I don't want to get trapped and cause noise, but there we go. There. That's where it was before. And now it's not going anywhere. It's all nice up in there. So that is the best way I know of doing it. Probably not the most ideal way. You could, like I said, drill a hole and put a switch in here or put one up here. I mean, there's many different ways to go about this, but the person who owns it, this was okay with him to do it this way. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to just switch it on and off through the power cord. That way we're not putting any more stress on that switch and causing things to arc out, because it started to arc out on me again. So that is it for this. Now really it's just a matter of putting it all back together and hope that the phono preamp stage works properly, and it's not noisy. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it back together, and then we're going to do one more final test of this thing, and that will conclude this project. The second part of this video is fairly short. It's not as elaborate as the first one. I just wanted to come to the conclusion, so we're going to get it put back together, slowly but surely. Getting ready to install the knobs, and one thing I want to point out is there are 3 smaller ones and 3 larger ones. So unless you want your OCD to go insane, you might want to put them back on the correct way. And that is, a larger knob goes here, and then the 3 small knobs go on bass, treble, and balance. That's where they go. You got a large knob here, here, and here. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that, and if not, it's always good to take reference photos. The other thing is the vinyl finish, fake finish stuff is not in my wheelhouse. It's outside of my wheelhouse, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm not sure if he's going to do anything with it or not, but the big thing for me is electronic restoration. Alrighty then, it's all together. I got the speakers out. The only thing left to do now is plug it in. I gotta get the cord because it ran off the other end. Alright. Plug it in. See if it blows up. Nope. Oh, that's pretty. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Balance works. Treble, I don't know. See, tone on. Yep, that works still. Bass works still. Let's see, what do we have? I don't have an antenna hooked up, so I probably won't bring anything in. Almost. Alright, not much there. Let's try AM. Noise.
All committees, thank God.
You hear me? Well, listen. He knows if you are sleeping. Yeah, he knows.
Your culture could be
It's crazy. There's actually music. Anyways. Seems to work fine. Now the AM FM works. Let's move it over to phono. See? No noise. No noise on phono. No more crackling. I can't let that play too long or I'll get a copyright strike. But the phono stage is working properly. I wanted to check that out next after we tested the radio and all that stuff. So the phono section is functioning perfectly fine. as we can hear from there. No noise, everything sounds great. So I think we can wrap this guy up. We're done with it. I have, the switch bypassed. All the bulbs are good now. Everything's all 100% functional. So that's going to wrap this one up. So this is the part 2 and finality of the repair series. So you know what to do. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. And subscribe. Smash that button. Smash the bell. And if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. And also, my Discord server is in the description below. Thank you for watching. And until next time.
Who says everybody can't jam?